name is Debi Cornwall, and I'm a conceptual documentary artist who was a civil rights lawyer in a past professional life. I first got involved in Guantanamo Bay after I left lawyering and was looking for a photographic project. I started my work on Guantanamo with a project ultimately called Welcome to Camp America inside Guantanamo Bay. Camp America is an actual place at the naval station, and it just struck me the double meaning of the phrase, Camp America. It's an actual physical location, and it is reminiscent of sort of summer camp, which was consistent with the messaging that I experienced by the military authorities, the look how much fun we're having show, the buying and packaging and consuming of American military power in Cuba by way of the souvenir. So Welcome to Camp America felt like it functioned on a couple of different levels. It has three bodies of work within it. The first is Gitmo at home, Gitmo at play. It's a different kind of way of looking at Guantanamo that might invite a fresh gaze. I juxtaposed home and play spaces of both the prisoners and the guards. And one thing that struck me in looking at the equivalent spaces was this one point of human connection between them, which is no one has chosen to live in this place. The second part of my project in Welcome to Camp America, I called Gitmo on Sale, and that was documenting the souvenirs sold at the Guantanamo Bay gift shops. Of course, there are gift shops. The last part of the project is called Beyond Gitmo, and that was, in fact, my original idea, photographing the men cleared and released after being held for so many years without charge or trial. I documented the lives of 14 men living in 9 countries. The challenge, aside from connecting with them, was how do I convey the inner reality that these men are going through to lay people? That the trauma is still embodied long after the body is freed. And ultimately, I decided to photograph each man, make an environmental portrait of him as though he were still held in Guantanamo and subject to the military's no faces rule. So I photographed each man from the back. I didn't know how the men would relate to this conceptual idea, and each of them grasped it immediately, and they said, absolutely, let's do it that way. With each man, I tried to find locations of relevance to his life. So for example, in Slovakia, I photographed Hamza, a Tunisian, and Hussein, a Yemeni, who were shipped off to Slovakia because the United States government deemed them ineligible to go home. What a disorienting experience to be dropped into a country where no one speaks Arabic, no one is Muslim, no one is brown like you. So we ended up photographing by the edge of the river in the small town where they were sent. With men like Hamza and Hussein, we collaborated to find locations emphasizing the disorientation. With men like Murat, who returned home to Germany, we chose locations of relevance to his daily lives. Places of solace, places of refuge, places of home for the men who had returned home. The book was released in 2017. It has an essay by Mozam Beg, who writes an incredibly moving story about having been in the recreation pen in Camp Echo, about what it was like to be let out of his cell for an hour's exercise into this outdoor pen in the open air, under the hot Cuban sun. He said, I had so many choices. I could walk clockwise or counterclockwise. If I had lots of energy, I could run. And on my most ambitious days, I could try to climb the chain link fence that held me in and try to glimpse the sea, which otherwise I could only hear and perhaps smell. We wanted the design of the book to advance the concept. With the photographs of the released men, each of them is printed in a 4-page folio, and each of these are placed arbitrarily within the book throughout it, not bound in. So they fall out and they're out of order and they could be damaged. It's the perfect metaphor for what we have done to these men. We've arbitrarily taken them out of their lives and then arbitrarily placed them back in or placed them in some completely foreign land to pick up the pieces. I've learned through the process of making this work that art has the capacity to work alongside advocacy. By inviting curiosity and using unexpected images, you can invite a different kind of a dialogue.